If you want to see how I made this, a Copycat Panera broccoli cheddar soup in a homemade bread bowl with almost no effort, keep watching the video. This one comes together pretty quick. It doesn't take much. It looks impressive and your family will love it. So stay tuned and look for the answer to the number one question in my house every day. Dad, what's for dinner? So dinner tonight is going to be, I guess you'd call it a special one, kind of closing down the fall season. So we're going to make Copycat Panera cheddar cheese broccoli soup, but we're going to take it up a level and make our own bread bowls for it. So in order to get this all together in time for dinner tonight, I have to start this morning and get these bread bowls going. Okay, so they're actually pretty simple. We've got about 4.5 cups of flour, a cup and a half of water, uh, 2 tablespoons of butter, some salt, some sugar, 2 packets of yeast, and a little bit of extra sugar to put in the water and get that all dissolved. When we go to make the soup, it's just broccoli. We're going to shred up some carrots, some chicken stock, some half and half, an onion, and cheddar cheese. Not much to it. The soup is actually the quick part of this. We got to get going on these bread rolls. On these bread bowls though, because they're going to take a little time to proof and then get in the bowls and then let them proof again and get them in the oven and bake. So I'm going to get stuff arranged and then we'll bring you back and get this started. Let's get started. The first thing we're going to do here is get our yeast proofing. So this is a cup and a half of water. You want it between 110 and 120 degrees to make sure that you don't kill off your yeast. This one is right around 112, 113, so we're good. I'm going to start out by adding a little sugar here into this. We'll just kind of mix it around a little bit, and then we'll add our yeast. Get that in the water. And then you're just going to let this go on its own for about 5 to 10 minutes. You'll know when it's ready. It'll get really frothy and bubbly on the top, look kind of odd. So we'll get that kind of on its own, and we can move into making our, getting everything ready to put the dough together. So this is 4 cups of flour. I've got another half cup here. I'm going to put in about 3.5 cups of this to start with. Okay, we'll call that good. All right, and then I have some additional sugar. I think it's 2 tablespoons, and then half a teaspoon of salt here. All right, so this is all ready to go. Once our yeast is proofed, we'll go ahead and add the butter. We'll add the yeast mixture, and then we'll add the remaining flour as it's needed. I'll bring you back when we're ready to start mixing. So our yeast is looking good. I think we're ready to move on. You can see how it's built up a nice foam on the top. So we're good to go there. I'm going to raise my bowl. Just give the flour and sugar, salt, a little mix around in here. Okay, that looks good. And I'll go ahead and throw the butter in. Okay. And we'll add in our yeast mixture as it's going. Now start your mixer slow while you've got a lot of just dry ingredients in here, because they will go all over the place if you start too fast. So then it's just a matter of getting our bloomed yeast in here, not breaking our measuring cup. And I let this go until the flour and liquids are all incorporated. Then I'm actually going to let the stand mixer do the kneading for me. So This will take about a minute to get all the dry ingredients and wet ingredients put together. And then I'm going to let it knead for about 8 to 10 minutes. So I'll bring you back when we're ready to check on this dough. So you can see how this is starting to come together now. It's got kind of a shaggy consistency. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn the speed up a little bit, and we'll let this get to kneading. I'll bring you back when we're all done with this step, and we're ready to get this out for its first rest. All right, this is looking great. We just wrapped up our 8 minutes of kneading. Let's get it out of here and see what we're really dealing with. Yeah, and this dough is absolutely perfect. It's not sticky. I can work it around my hands, no problem. Nothing's getting stuck there. So real quickly, what I want to do is I'm just gonna get this into a nice tight dough ball. That looks pretty good. A little bit of no stick spray there in our bowl. Put our little dough ball in here. And I just flip it around so it's got some spray on all sides of it. I'm going to cover this. And this is now going to sit, and we're going to let it rise for 40 to 60 minutes. We're looking for it to about double in size. So I'm going to let this guy rest up, get some stuff cleaned up, and we'll bring you back when we're ready to get this made into the actual bread bowl portions. Welcome back. Our dough's done with its first rise. Let's see how it went. Oh, it looks great. Okay, so now what we want to do is we're going to punch this down. We're going to divide it into 4 equal pieces, and then we're going to put it on our final baking dish, and we're going to let it proof again for another 30 to 40 minutes. So just get in there and push that down. Get your ball out. All right, and then I just look to cut in half and cut in half again. Okay, and then we want to get these back into little balls. And I just have a little piece of parchment laid down here on this sheet. Okay, and then to ball these up, I just kind of take the corners, bring them down underneath, seal it off, twist a little bit, then put it on my surface and give it a roll between my 2 hands. Okay, now what we want to do is just kind of put an X on the top of these. That'll help them kind of rise up instead of spread out. So I just take my knife, put a little X on the top of all of them. All right, now these are ready for their second rise. You can put an egg wash on them if you want. I just didn't figure this is where I wanted to spend 50 bucks this week, so we're going to skip that and we'll just cook them like this. I'm going to give these 40 minutes to rise, and then we'll bring you back to do the bake. Welcome back. Okay, these guys have gotten done with their second rise. They look really good. You can see they've puffed up quite a bit. Now, before I throw them in the oven, I am, though, going to just give them a little coating of some half and half here on the top. Okay. And now I'm going to put, just for kind of garnish, for lack of a better term, just a little bit of molten salt. This is like a big flaky finishing salt. So the milk will help that stick. Okay, these are ready to go. I'm going to throw them in the little toaster oven there. It's at 400 degrees. They're going to go for 25 minutes, okay? Now that we've got the bread bowls in the oven, I want to turn to getting the soup ready to go. So this is going to come together really quick. Not a lot of ingredients here. This is 2 cups of chicken stock, 2 cups of half and half. I've already melted a half a cup, or I'm sorry, a quarter cup of butter in my pan. I've got a quarter cup of flour. I've got our carrot and onion that we shredded up earlier, our cheese, some salt and pepper, and then some broccoli here. Probably about 2 cups. Okay, so we're going to get this started off by just sauteing our onions and carrots. And this won't take too long. And just like always, right, we're just trying to get everything softened up. So we'll give this about a minute and then we'll move on to the next step. So our carrot and onion here is softened up. It looks really good. Now we're going to move on to the next step, and that's to add a quarter cup of flour to make a roux. And I just got to pause right there because it seems like as I'm thinking about the 18 videos or so that I've put out, I don't know how many times I've said, let's make a roux, or that's how you make a roux, or whatever. It's almost going to become a drinking game. But we're also moving into the spring and summer, which means a lot of this, hearty dishes will go away. We'll move out on the deck and start grilling a little more. So apologies if I overdo it with the roux. But let's get this quarter cup of flour in here. Get that mixed in with the butter and the carrots and the onions. And as always, let's give it about a minute. Cook that raw flour taste out of it. Just kind of wait for that nutty smell to come along. All right, I'm going to keep this moving. We'll bring you back in just a minute. All right, this is cooked down. Everything's smelling the right way. So let's start adding our liquids. Like I said, this is just 2 cups of chicken stock, 2 cups of half and half. I'm going to pour a little bit in just to get things started. Stir that around until it's nice and smooth. Okay, and you can see how it seized right up. So let's add a little more. All right, we're going to go ahead and add the rest of this in. All right, I'm going to give this just a couple of minutes to come up to temperature, everything get hot again, and then we'll move on to the next part. Our soup base is up to temperature now. I'm starting to see some little bubbles around the side, so now it's time to add our broccoli. Get that mixed in. And now what we want to do is just let this soup simmer for about 25 minutes. We'll let that broccoli soften up, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how we finish the soup up. Well, our 25 minutes on our bread bowls is done. Just pulled them out of the toaster oven. They look incredible. These are going to be awesome. And honestly, how much work was it? I mean, take some time to let it rise twice, but actual work time, it's 10 minutes of effort to make the dough and get it formed. Don't sell yourself short. Anybody can make these super easy. So we got to let these cool now for 15 minutes. The soup's on the stove. It's still simmering along. That's got about 10 minutes or so left to go. So these will cool. When that's ready to go, I'll bring you back and we'll put it all together. Our soup's had its 25 minutes to simmer. Everything's ready to go. The broccoli's nice and tender. So we're ready to move in to finish this one up. Now, our family doesn't particularly like all the big chunks of broccoli and everything. You can serve it just like this, but I'm going to go ahead and just use my immersion blender and blend this up. I usually take it all the way, so it's just kind of green flecks. The other thing you can do is take half of it out, put it in a blender, put it back, and you get a mix of chopped up and fully there. So I'm going to go ahead and just use my immersion blender. And we'll get this taken care of in just a second. Our soup's all blended up. Now it's time to start adding our cheese. We just want to do this a little bit at a time. And like always, right, I don't want to do this on the heat. I don't want that cheese to break and separate. So just add a little bit in at a time. Mix it in and get it melted. All right. Now that everything's incorporated, we got to taste it, see where we're at for salt and pepper, and make any adjustments. So I'm just going to grab a little bit here. Definitely needs salt. And again, right, you want to taste it after you add that cheese because you don't know how much salt you're going to pick up from that. So I'm going to give it a little pepper. All right, and there it is. That's our soup. Believe it or not, was even easier than making the bread bowls, right? Again, there was probably maybe 5 minutes of effort in this one, a little time to chop up the vegetables, but most of it was just letting things come up to heat and simmer. So I'm going to let this kind of finish up, sit for a little bit so those flavors can mix all together. Go pick my daughter up from school, and then we'll put this together in the bread bowls and close this one out. Here we go. Everything's done and ready to be put together. So let's start out with our bread bowls. I just cut a circle out of the top of these. Then peel out some of this extra bread that's in here, but don't get rid of it. Put it on the side. You can use it for dipping in your soup. All right. Get a good helping of your broccoli cheddar soup here. A little more cheese on the top. And there you have it. A super simple Panera Copycat broccoli cheddar soup and homemade bread bowl. That's the answer to it. Dad, what's for dinner? You know what? And you can help me answer the number 2 question in my household nowadays. Dad, how many subscribers do you have? If you like the content, I'd ask that you go and subscribe to the channel, give me a like on the video, and put any comments that you have on what I can improve or what you'd like to see me make. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.